Grand Rising, excuse me. I just took a swig of coffee. How are you guys doing? I hope that you guys are having a great Friday. It's Friday already. These, this year has flown by. This week, this month, flown by. Before you know it, yeah, it's going to be what you guys call 2025. But anyway, I hope and pray that you guys are having a great Friday, wherever you are located in the world. Um, as I enjoy my coffee this morning, I just some things that's been in my ruach, in my spirit, that I want to share with you guys regarding the military industrial complex. Um, military industrial complex is all of the systems, all of the military branches in a country, and all of the companies that support the military. It encompasses and makes up what we call the military industrial complex. Um, that term was created by President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he warned the United States that the military industrial complex would become a very dangerous thing if it's allowed, if military industrial complexes are allowed to rule and to make money and to profit off of the military industry. Now, how many of you know there's big money and big business in the military and in war? The military industrial complex does not profit, gains no profits if there's no conflict, gains no profits if there are no wars, if there are no coups, if there are no overthrowing of governments, whatever you want to call it, overtaking of a government, there are not any insurrections. The military industrial complex then ceases to be necessary. And the people that make really big money off of the military industrial complex are the military officials that are high up, the people that are in charge of the military, the commander in chief, and the generals, whatever the ranks call them in the different branches of the military. Those are the people that profit the most off of the military industrial complex. Your average enlistee in the military they do not benefit from the military industrial complex. Your average enlistee is a young person that is underemployed or unemployed, can't find gainful employment, or the employment that he or she has is not enough to sustain themselves and or their families, if they have a family. So your average enlistee is a young person that has sought out every opportunity available, and they are very loyal, and they're looking for something to do. They're looking for employment and maybe even a career, and they may even have a love for their country. So here comes the recruiter, and the enlistee is listening to the recruiter, and the recruiter is, telling them all of these wonderful things that they'll experience if they decide to enlist into the military. I've been there because I am a veteran of the United States Army. Okay. I remember the recruiters, their recruiters get paid good money. They get paid for every person they enlist into the military. And they live really good lives, okay? And that's because they are the military salesmen. They are the ones that are in charge of selling young, gullible people the military, signing your life away to be loyal, and some people call patriotic, to your country, in service to your country, supposedly, by enlisting into the military. And I promise you, when I was a young person, I was always very bright and intelligent. So I was a young person. I was like, yeah, I want to do something. I want to do something. Yeah, that would be great. Let's do this. So you sign on the dotted line. And I don't know about any other country, but in America, when you sign up for the military, you take all of these battery of tests. You, if you pass the test, they say, oh, okay, you can come on in. And they enlist you, and then you are sworn in. You have to take an oath that you will be patriotic and you will be willing to give your life for your country and blah 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 blah. I don't remember what I said. I just held up my hand and said it because I was excited, right? I'm going in the military, yay! And it wasn't that I was always this physical person. As a matter of fact, I had some challenges even as a young person. I had asthma and bronchitis really bad. Um, it wasn't enough, I guess, to keep them from signing me up into the military. But I was always the very last person. When we had morning runs, I was always the very last person in the platoon because I would be hacking and coughing and wheezing because it was just a challenge for me. This is something that I've always dealt with, even from a child. So when I got into the military, it's one thing when somebody sells you something, it's another thing when you actually have to live with it. And, the one thing I began to realize once I got into the military is some of the people that's in the military are straight hypocrites. Okay? They're not there because they love their country. They're not there because they want to serve their country. They're just looking for a steady job, steady paycheck, a place to stay. They know that the military can't necessarily fire you, and even if they find that you're incompetent or you become disabled or anything happens to you, the military, at least in the United States for now, the military has to take care of you, or they're supposed to take care of you. Hello, how do you treat American veterans? But anyway, so that was the first thing that I noticed, that the military was full of hypocrites. And I also realized that the military is full of freaks. Yes. Yeah, they're full of freaks. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just wasn't totally pleased with the military experience that I had. Military is definitely still a misogynistic, sexist entity. It doesn't matter how capable or how functional or how physically fit or how educated a female soldier is. A female soldier will always experience some level of sexism and misogyny in the military industrial complex. Always. No matter if she's a brigadier general or, she's high up there in rank. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just that's the way it is. Okay. The one thing I began to note, soon I stopped. I was going to drills because I signed up for the United States Army Reserves so that I continue to get funding for school because I wanted to go back to school. I had lost my full tuition scholarship to Dillard University in New Orleans. And so I was looking for, like I said, most young people are looking for the benefits that the U.S. military offers its soldiers for now. So anyway, as you live the military life, you seek the benefits of the military, and nothing's wrong with that. You begin to realize the inconsistencies and the straight up lies and the injustices that are inherent in the military industrial complex. How it treats its enlistees and its soldiers, the guys and the girls who are at the bottom of the rank, who are on if a nation is called to war, they are the ones that are on the front lines risking their lives. And they are most times are the ones that sent off to fight some stupid crazy war that don't have anything to do with us. They don't send the generals and the higher ups. They send the enlistees. They send the kids fresh out of basic training, fresh out of college maybe. They send the kids. That's what they did during Vietnam. It was a bunch of kids they put out there on the front lines in, in Vietnam. There was a lot of kids that were traumatized, that were blown apart, that saw all kind of atrocities and horrors and was exposed to all kind of chemical warfare. Huh? Agent Orange. Those kids. Huh? That were traumatized and that had to deal with PSTD and all kind of memories that some of them were suppressed memories. But this is what the military industrial complex does. It uses your average person, the average Joe, the average enlistees. You're just a body count to them, okay? They're just, they use you as a shield, a human shield. They don't care for your lives. And the way that I can say that, and I know that, is because after you've served, you've been deployed to whatever war or whatever assignment that you're deployed to, and you're risking your lives and you're risking your health and you're spending time away from your family and your loved ones and you're risking everything. You're putting everything on the line for your country because you said that you vowed that that's what you would do. And then after you've done that, and after you've suffered, through some atrocities that none of us could even imagine. I was in the 377 TACOM unit out of New Orleans, Louisiana. That was my unit. And I don't know, it was the Most High Yah that just said, stop going to drill. Stop going to drill. So I stopped going to weekend drill. I just stopped. And I just didn't show up. I was a no-show. Okay? And I was maybe 21 years old. And the spirit of the Most High Yah, the Ruach HaKodesh, just don't go. I had just became born again. And, when I signed up, I wasn't born again. Because if I had been born again before I signed up, I would not have ever gone into the military. And that's the honest truth. Because you are not supposed to take an oath to any entity, any country, any organization when you are a born again believer. You're not supposed to take an oath. You're not supposed to pledge allegiance to the flag and all this. That's idolatry. That is not allowed, and it is condemned in the word. But I stopped going. I just stopped. And soon after that, I want to say maybe a month or two after I stopped going, that's when Desert Storm began in the Middle East. And 377 TACOM was one of the units out of New Orleans that was deployed to fight that war. Okay? And because I hadn't gone, they couldn't issue any orders for me to go. So I didn't go. And I remember years later meeting up with a person a white girl that I had that was a fellow soldier that we served at 377 TACOM. It was on the lakefront in New Orleans. Before Katrina, there was a military unit there. And she began to tell me what happened to a lot of the people at 377 TACOM. Some didn't make it. She survived, but she became permanently disabled. She was actually out there in the desert. The 377 TACOM was front line in the desert. Okay? And she just told me that they suffered some horrendous things. And these kids, we were all kids out of high school. You're going to take some kids out of high school that's never been in a desert, probably never had been out the country, and they say, we want you to go to a desert in the Middle East and fight these people. And you don't even know why you're there. You just were given orders to go. And so you go. And you may lose your life, or you may lose your sanity, or you may become permanently disabled. Now, she was one of the lucky ones that she was able to get benefits. But I know a lot of veterans that They never got any benefits. They never got the care that they were supposed to get after war. Excuse me, my coffee is getting warm. um, but this is what the military industrial complex does. All of the trillions of dollars that goes into the military budget in America. There is no reason in the world why any veteran should be homeless, should not receive proper medical care, mental health intervention, addiction intervention. Because a lot of people don't understand what happens to people when you send them to war. You don't understand the traumatic, wicked things that people witness and experience when they're out there. There's some stuff that they never get over. It's some stuff that is just permanently disabling to the mind. The very first black mass shooter that I ever heard of in my lifetime, he was known as the DC Sniper. Okay? I believe it was in the early 2000s or maybe even the 1990s. He was a veteran. He was a veteran. And he came back to the United States and he never was right. And he became one of the first, if not the first, black mass shooter in the United States. You know what made him go there? You know what drove him to that? Post-traumatic stress disorder untreated due to wartime trauma that he experienced. And the United States military industrial complex failed that man and created a monster by sending him to war and then wouldn't help treat him once he got back. And he became a mass shooter. But this is what the military industrial complex does. It makes monsters. It makes those young men and young women, it desensitizes them from violence and trauma, makes them do evil, wicked, deplorable things that they would have never dreamed that they would have ever done when they were in training. That's how the Mossad, a lot of those cats that's in the Mossad, same thing. Young people in the so-called state of is it real, going out there, even in their military. The reason why they are capable of doing the carnage that they're doing right now in Palestine and in the Gaza Strip is because they've took those young men and women from school, young men and women, and made them monsters in their training, made them monsters. That's why they could do what they do to children and don't blink an eye and not flinch and justify it using religion as an excuse. Religion that's not really inherently theirs. They're converts at best. Not really great converts, but converts nonetheless. But that's the military industrial complex. And guess what? There's big money in the military industrial complex, like I said before. And every person that dies in the military, I'm even willing to gamble that they get money off of every soldier. They get some kind of benefit off of every soldier that is slain. I'm going to go look that up. And if I'm wrong, I'll come back and say, no, that's not true. But I promise you, just the greed that is inherent in the military industrial complex. I promise you, I can't speak for any other nation, but in the United States, I'm pretty sure they probably have some kind of way where every time a soldier is killed in the line of duty, the military industrial complex of the United States government gets some kind of dividend or some kind of benefit, some monetary benefit off of the death of its soldiers. That's why they don't flinch in sending your son and your daughter and your grandchildren, your nieces and your nephews and your siblings to a war. Because they make money from war. They make money from conflict. And they don't care who they use. When I realized all of this, and it takes a while for you to understand and realize this. I told my own children, don't you dare join the military. Because they're not going to take care of you. They don't care about you. They're just going to throw you out there in the middle of nowhere to fight some war that don't have anything to do with you. And if something happens to you, or if you need some kind of help or assistance, they're going to throw you away and say, no, we're not giving you any assistance. Get over it. And then they push this whole, well, you're supposed to be loyal and patriotic to your country. When a country hasn't been loyal and patriotic to you, when a country has historically, consistently used and exploited you, you owe that country nothing if they always hell-bent on your destruction and the destruction of all your people. I'm not telling you to overthrow a government, no. But I'm saying you don't have to be loyal and faithful to no government that ain't loyal and faithful to you. That's showing you that they don't give a daggone about you. And actually show you that they don't, if you die, if you become handicapped or maimed in some kind of way, they're not going to do anything for you. They don't care. And that's how the United States government treats its veterans. They'll pump you up and all kinds of stuff when you go off, when you graduate from basic training and you receive all these honors and they give you the uniform and you feel so wonderful and you feel so accomplished because you're doing something. And, then they push the whole, you're love your country, you're patriotic. Oh yeah, they're going to really pump you up and make you feel really wonderful. But when they send you to war and you come back with one leg, one arm, are you blind? Are you all messed up in your head and become a mass shooter? Then that's when they'll throw you away and they'll act like they don't know you. Or they'll criminalize you and demonize you and say, oh, there's plenty of people that went to war and they didn't become mass shooters. There's plenty of people who were deployed and they weren't homeless. They didn't become addicts. They didn't suffer any mental illnesses or deal with addiction issues. When they fail to understand that people are unique. Everybody is different. You can't expose trauma upon trauma upon trauma to people and expect all of those people to react the same way. Everybody is different. Everybody have different backgrounds and upbringings. But the military-industrial complex doesn't care about any of that. Because it doesn't take the money, the trillions of dollars that it makes. It doesn't say we're going to take $1 billion out of this $1 trillion budget and we're going to invest in the care of our veterans. Because we want to let the veterans know we really appreciate their sacrifice. Not just a lip service, not just having a holiday here and there and saying, oh, we honor you, thank you for your service. But no, in your policies. Invest in your VA hospitals. Set up VA clinics that actually serve the veterans. Set up housing specifically for veterans. No veteran in America should be homeless. None. But they're not going to do that because there's no profit in that, right? They're going to let the top dogs up top get all the money. Or they're going to invest it in more weapons that they're going to give and distribute all over the world so that they can continue to fund wars and insecurity and coups. They fund the wars and the coups and the insecurity, and then they turn around and post it on their government website. Oh, don't travel over there. They got insecurity. Like they don't know why there's insecurity. That's how the military industrial complex ensures that it will always get trillions of dollars in its budget. Just keep war going, keep insecurity going, keep coups going. Keep it up all over the world. So we find a reason, an excuse to ship young men and women into wars that they should never have to fight. And some of those people go to different countries and they abuse and exploit and rape and kill and pillage when they're supposed to be there on missions to help the people and protect the people. Because that's what you've trained them to do. But this is the military industrial complex. It's amazing. And it's disgusting. It's nauseating. If the military was so effective, why is there so much war going on right now? Why is there so much insecurity going on right now? Why are people not safe? All over the world. There's insecurity in the United States too. Don't get it twisted. When you hear about a mass shooting, most of the time it's in America. If you go to a mall or a church or a synagogue or a concert or a supermarket and they start shooting, isn't that insecurity? Just randomly start shooting. And the United States has the most weapons per capita than any country in the world. I can go on and on, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. I would advise any young person, don't go into your military. Don't do it. You're a body bag. You're a body shield for a country that don't care about you. And it's not true just about the United States. It's true about most countries. Most countries don't really care about its soldiers. Most countries don't take care of its soldiers. Don't fall for it. Don't sign up. Don't enlist. Be your own boss. Be an entrepreneur. You guys be blessed in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach.